Wait for me. Corin, wait.
Hey guys, I am making this video because some of you have asked some questions about recording software, what to use, how you use it, how you load it, what you do when you're done loading it. And so hopefully this will answer some of the questions and give you guys some options on what you use or can use if you choose to record anything on your computer to send to students. Now, really quickly, I just recorded this whole video and went back to make sure it was working before I sent it to you and realized that I didn't have the sound on. So even somebody who's used to using this kind of software is going to have issues with it, like I just did. So I definitely would recommend that if you're going to use this, you get on the computer today and you play around with it and you try it with other teachers who are willing to try it out to make sure it works before you try this with students. Because like I said, I didn't even have the sound on. I just recorded an entire video with no sound. So hopefully there is sound for this one and it's not too loud or too echoey. I won't know what it sounds like until I go to watch the playback and it answers some of the questions that you have. So I've got my little notes here. I am going to tell you guys about 4 different options that you have for recording your screen or screencasting, if you will, along with a couple options for live meetings, live recording, and introduce you to the beauty of YouTube. If you're not familiar with using a YouTube channel, I want to show you how I use that and how that's worked for me so far. So the first option that I want to tell you about is actually the one that I'm using right now to record this, and it is called ManyCam. If you find YouTube videos, you'll see that some people pronounce it ManyCam. Same thing, ManyCam. And I use ManyCam for teaching online with my students in China. So I do have a paid version of it because I do use it every single day. There is a free version, which I'll show you the website for. I don't think the free version does a whole lot. I don't honestly remember what exactly the free version does, but the paid version allows you to have 4 different presets that you can shuffle between using your keyboard or using your mouse. So this is preset number 1, just me and the camera. Preset number 2, I have set up to be just a still picture. So when my students are waiting for me, I'll have this ready so that they can see that I am coming. Preset number 3 actually allows students to see a small part of my screen that I've selected. So I've selected just this PowerPoint presentation here and me. And I can, like I said, with just the touch of my keyboard keys, go back and forth between all of me and small version of me with a large PowerPoint that I want them to see. I can go through the PowerPoint, and as I click on things, they're able to see what I can see here on my screen. This is what I'm actually going to use with a student tomorrow who's working on telling time and working on that I would version of a sentence. I would rather do this. And so I can click on these and they can see anything that I can see. The 4th setting that I have set up right now actually is my full desktop. So by clicking on this, you guys can see what ManyCam looks like. So this is what I see on my screen right now. I've got my PowerPoint over there, which you just saw very large, actually pretty small in the upper right-hand corner of my screen. I can see ManyCam in itself. However, it still works even when I minimize it. So I can't see myself, but you guys can see me and see my full screen as well. And so you can see that this is what the app looks like. Those are the 4 different options that I have. It's pretty user-friendly, I think, although I did forget to turn the sound on right here. So even people who are familiar with it are going to make mistakes. Now, I don't actually use ManyCam for recording, although I definitely could. I just never have thought to do it because I'm more used to using a different option, which I'm going to show you. ManyCam, you can see is recording right here. You can see the little red camera. I can also live stream with ManyCam, which I have not tried, but live streaming, it gives me the option of live streaming directly to YouTube or directly to Facebook. And I would still have all of these different options. So if I live stream on Facebook or YouTube, I could still switch between screens. I may have to play around with this actually and try it out because I've never tried it before with my students. I'm just curious what it's like. So I may actually have to try ManyCam a little bit more than I've been using it. I will post the links to all of these websites online because you do get these from a website so that you can explore the different packages. I know that ManyCam is $0. Obviously there's a free version, but I don't think it does much. $29 for an annual version. If you're going to be using it every day like I do, it's worth the $29. Otherwise, if you don't want to pay money, there are some more options out there that I'm going to show you. So I'm going to stay on desktop screen. I won't be able to see myself myself, so hopefully I don't look too goofy. And I'm going to show you some of the other options that exist that are free. So another option that you guys have is Screencastify. Now, I'm on the pricing page so that you can see the different pricing options. There is a free version. However, the downside for me for Screencastify is that you can only record 5 minutes of video. So for me, wanting to do a math lesson or an English lesson, 5 minutes isn't enough time. I tried Screencastify at the beginning and 5 minutes just was not enough time. The upside is that it's auto-saved to Google Drive. So all your videos are saved if you have a Google Drive account to your Google Drive that you can access and do stuff with from there. So if you're just doing quick, short little videos, Screencastify might be a great option. If you want to pay for longer videos, unlimited recording, it is $29 a year, the same as ManyCam. And that is the educational discount. So Screencastify is actually an extension up in your Google Chrome browser or whatever browser that you have. You can see the little pink arrow there, that is Screencastify. But the version that I actually use the most is right here, Screencast-o-matic. And I'm actually going to record myself recording myself because this is specifically what Tammy Fry asked about. So I wanted to show her how to use it and answer any other questions and give her some other options as well. But when you launch Screencast-o-matic, you download it from the web. It puts a little desktop version shortcut on your desktop. So that's what I've clicked on. And you can see that there are different plans. I don't know the cost of those plans. I don't have it pulled up right now. I use the free recorder. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the free recorder. And when I launch the free recorder, I know now that you can't see the whole thing because I have the picture-in-picture showing up here. So let me actually go and change my settings here on ManyCam. I want to bear with me while I change my settings here. I want to go to take off the webcam. Now you can see my full screen. All right, so now you can see my full screen and you can see this is what pops up for Screencast-o-matic. I can show just the screen, I can show the webcam, or I can show both. Kind of like I was doing with ManyCam with the webcam and the picture together. For the free version, there is a maximum time of 15 minutes. Now, this has worked out pretty well for me. If I need to go over the 15 minutes, I just make a part 2, and they know to watch part 1 and part 2. Again, I could be using ManyCam to do this. I don't know why I haven't thought of it, but Screencast-o-matic is what I started using first, and I just stuck with it. You can see the little microphone button here, so it's showing that it is recording me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click record. When I click record, it starts counting down 3, 2, 1. And now because I had full desktop showing, I'm recording my screen and students can see what I see on my screen. And so that's typically what I'll use. I bring up my PowerPoint, large screen, and I go through the slides. And as I'm talking, they can see what I'm talking about, so forth and so on. All right, when I am all done recording, you can see there's a little red pause button down here. I will click on that when I'm done, and I click on the word done. If you make a mistake, you can trash it and just start over. But done, and you can see I can edit the video, which I've never played around with, and save and upload. I'm going to click on save/upload, and it's going to give me some choices here. I can save it as a video file to my computer. I can upload it to Screencast-o-matic, which I have never actually done, or I can upload it to YouTube if I already have a YouTube channel. And that's typically what I do. So if I click on upload to YouTube, you can see I can change the title. I can go ahead and add a description. I can change the privacy setting from unlisted to public if I want everybody to be able to see it. I can choose a category. I can choose whether my cursor is highlighted. So once I save all that information, I click publish, and it publishes the video. Now, I don't want to publish this quick little video. I want to show you that you can also save. If you don't have a YouTube channel, you can save. And again, you can call it whatever you want. So we'll call this a test video. You can choose the folder where you want it to save to. You can create your own folder. Right now, mine always just goes to downloads because I haven't created another folder. I don't usually save the videos. And then when you have everything set up the way that you want it to be set up, you click publish. And this is a pretty short video, so it should load pretty quickly. A 15-minute video on my internet usually takes 2 to 3 minutes to load, sometimes longer, depending on how many people are on the internet. So there it is. I could play it. I don't want to play it right now, so I'm just going to click done, and there it goes. Because I told it to save to the downloads folder, I do want to show you that that is where it went. So there it is. There's my test video. If I wanted to, there you go. So you can see that it did record with sound and video, so I can check it before I share it with anybody and send that out. All right, so here I am back on ManyCam again. So I showed you Screencastify, I showed you Screen-cast-o-matic, I showed you ManyCam, which is what I'm using. And there's one other one that I want to show you that I have not actually tried yet. For those of you feeling a little adventurous and want to try something new, and that is OBS Studio. OBS is supposed to be like ManyCam, but free. A lot of teachers and others who do recording and live broadcasting and live teaching have talked about this, the fact that it's free and they like it. I found ManyCam and I used it and I liked it and I didn't mind that I had to pay for it. So that's just what I've been using. I have not played around with OBS. This is what OBS looks like when you download it, so you can select areas of your screen that you want to show. Again, you can change your sources. So if you saw on the bottom of ManyCam, I had those 4 different options for what you could see. It looks like OBS is the same. I may one day get tired of paying for ManyCam. Maybe next year when my subscription is up, I may switch to OBS. But as of right now, I'm pretty happy with ManyCam, so I haven't switched. But if you're wanting to try something free, you can try this. There are YouTube videos upon YouTube videos upon YouTube videos on how to use OBS Studio. So if you're curious, you can try that out. All right, so that is the 4 different things that I wanted to show you as far as recording, if you're wanting to record your screen. There are probably more. Those are just the ones that I'm most familiar with or the ones that I've heard about. I wanted to show you a couple of other things. One, live broadcasting. So we talked in our meeting the other day about doing a live chat with Teams, and live chats with Teams are great, but you can't share anything other than what's on what they see, the camera. So if you're wanting to share your whole screen, what I plan to use, and I know a lot of other teachers that I have talked to plan to use, is actually Zoom. And I had it open, but I must have closed it. Nope, there it is. So Zoom is a live, kind of like live web meeting. The students don't need to have Zoom. You can sign into Zoom, create your own free plan. I've already signed up, and you can create a meeting on Zoom. Sorry, I think I forgot to switch so you can see it. Here it is. You can create a meeting on Zoom and share that meeting with students, and then they can just join your meeting from their phone or their computer or anything like that. I haven't used it yet with students, so we'll see how it goes, but there are different variations of Zoom. Right now, Zoom actually has a discount for teachers if you want to do the pro version. I shared a link to a teacher friend of mine who uploaded to the Zoom Pro version, and she shared a discount code that you could use right now to get this Pro version for half off. That does allow you to record. Now, I think that I can use Zoom and record using ManyCam. So I'm gonna play with that tomorrow. If it doesn't work, I'll let you know. But I'm gonna stick with the Zoom free version and record with what I already have, which is ManyCam. So this is an option for those of you wanting to do any live screencasting. I also wanted to show you guys what YouTube looks like, because it's really easy to get your own YouTube channel. I've got a Gmail account. When you go into YouTube, you can sign in. And once you've signed in, I believe it gives you an option right here on this screen where you can upload videos. You can go to your channel. Once you're in your channel, you can see that I already have videos uploaded, but you can start loading videos from here. I've got playlists. So you can see my different playlists, which are organized by class and by topic, and I've got videos loaded there. I've created a new playlist called Distance Learning, where I'm going to load some videos like this one. When you are ready to upload a video to YouTube, it's pretty easy. You can click on this little button right here that says create a video. You can go live, or you can upload a video. And once you go to upload a video, let's say you made a video in Screencastify and you just saved it to your computer, or you made it with ManyCam, or you made it with anything else, you can select a file that you want to upload, and it brings open all of your files. And we could just click one of these and begin the upload process. YouTube, again, is pretty quick depending on your internet. Once you've loaded those videos, you can see on the left-hand side, I have all of these options. So right now I'm on videos, and you can see the videos that are listed here. You can see how many views there are. So for different videos, like my Advanced Math Factoring, Part 1 and Part 2, I have 8 students, but there's only been 7 views. So that tells me that somebody didn't watch the video like they were supposed to. So this is a great way to keep track of whether students have actually watched what they are supposed to have watched. It doesn't tell you who watched it, but I know that somebody did not watch it. If there are comments or likes or dislikes, you can see those as well. I can see my playlists. I can see a lot more analytical stuff that you're probably not interested in, but those options are there. So I would encourage you not to be afraid of YouTube because it's a great way to store your videos and share your videos without having to take up space on your computer. All right, so let's switch back to, hopefully you can see me now. I don't have it pulled up. Yep, there we go. So I have shared with you Screencastify. That was the 5-minute free version, which is a Google extension, Chrome extension that I haven't really used because it's only 5 minutes. Screencast-o-matic, which is a 15-minute version, which is primarily what I use because I've had that the longest and it's what I'm most comfortable with, and it loads directly to YouTube, which is great. ManyCam, which is what I'm using actually to record this. I needed to record myself recording on Screencast-o-matic. And as far as I know, with a paid version, there's not a limit on ManyCam, so I could go beyond the 15 minutes. ManyCam is nice because I can also switch the different views, so I can show you my full screen. I can show you just a part of my screen, like this. If I wanted you just to see part of my screen, I can switch to all of me. So there's all these different settings that you can really play around with in ManyCam, although it's not free. And then OBS, which is like ManyCam, what I'm using now, but not free. I would also encourage you to use something like Zoom if you're going to do live broadcasting, and play around with YouTube and see if you can load your videos on YouTube. Obviously, today is Tuesday and we start classes on Thursday. So if you want to try any of this, or if you need help with any of this, you try it and you just can't get it to work, let me know and I will do my best to help you out with what I'm familiar with or find the answers to the things that I'm not familiar with. Hopefully, Tammy Fry, that answers your questions on how to use Screencast-o-matic, and hopefully it wasn't too overwhelming and all of the different things that you can do. If you guys have any questions, just shoot it to me on Teams and I will do my best to answer them. Have a great day, guys.